Good morning, everybody. Morning. We'll start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, page 1 of the small booklet. From the heart of the Saviour of 100 deities of Tishita, on the peak of a cloud resembling a clump of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dharma, omniscient Losang Dragpa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me on a line-thrown lotus of moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 eons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy, beautiful with glory renowned. To you who meaningfully see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, light, scented waters, and so forth. Ocean of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and riches meaningful. By abandoning the 8 worldly concerns, Saviour, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy Gurus from the billion clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profoundly sensitive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigrating beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losang teaching to shine forever. Saji Poki Shuchimeto Chami Wablinchi Nidegen Party Sange Shindu Mitewa Yidro Kunanda Jingla Chokasha. By the merits having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his 2 sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize teachings of the victorious one, Losang Dragpa, who had the morality of an eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of the 2 stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Duratna Mandala Kamniyatayam. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Son, and combining into one enter my crown. White nectar the colour of milk flows from the opening of a tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. So we'll do the 5-line mixoma 3 times out loud. Mig me se we te chen chen me zi, dui me kem pe wan po jam pa ya, tu po ma lu shun se sang we da, yan che ke pe sun yan song ka pa, lo zan dra pa jab la so wa de. Mig me se we te chen chen me zi, dui me kem pe wan po jam pa ya, tu po ma lu shun se sang we da, yan che ke pe sun yan song ka pa, Losandra Plashabla Suwade. Mig me se we te chen chen mezi. Dream me kempe wampo jampaya. Dupo malu shon se sangweda. Ganche ke pe sungan songkapa. Losandra Plashabla Suwade. The prayer for a swift return of Lamas over Rinpoche. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravaka Pratyaka Buddhas, victorious Losang, father and son, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious teachings through explanation and practice. You wore the army of patience, courage. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings you suddenly disparted to peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the oceans of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious one, may the smile of reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples.
Sangye chodam soju chonum la changche bardo damne kyabsun dagi chushi yevanda dagi rolambe sangye drubar sho Sangye chodam soju chonum la changche bardo damne kyabsun dagi chushi yevanda dagi rolambe sangye drubar sho Sangye Chödam Sojin Chonum La Chanchu Pardu Dame Kyabsun Dagi Chöshi Gyebande Dagi Rolambe Sangye Drupara Sho Kangi Tuzi Nizone Tawa Tamche Bambi Cher Tambi Chun Denze Kodam Tela Chantse Lo Namo Laye Kedam Udano Jenge Tribanda Nami Kedam Tanro Kunji Tranam Chizam Tamje Kedu Dagi Chöden To Good morning, everyone. Shava delay.
Usually should be delayed.
How are you, everyone? Good? What your name? David. Your name? Janet. Jenny. Peter. You first time here, no? Many years. Sorry? Mm-hmm. I met for you. Yes. And you came here 2016 retreat. Not here. No, in 2016, the Yamantaka retreat. And then you left. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah. That time is retreat is very enjoy for me. I think 40 beginning there 44 people, so and then last time I think 42.
Wow.
How are you? Good? Excellent. Yeah. That time you little bit you I think 3 or 4 days and then up you left retreat. Yeah, I remember, yeah. It's okay. Okay. At that time I think you very stick, focused thinking, and then you mind a little bit. I see this. And slowly. Yes. Yeah. Your first time, David? Many times? Okay. Mm-hmm. Geshe Tsultrim. 2017. I'm sorry, I don't remember. That you have little bit long hair. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back. How's going your practice? Yeah. Yeah, Venerable. Atisha Center. That's good. Enjoy Dharma. Why? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, many people, they're suffering, not just there, we are also, and what are you thinking? This suffering from their side or here? The suffering, we have suffering, sometimes unhappy, sometimes emotions. Yes? Can you use this mic and then translate it hello to me?
Yes, I see people trying to find happiness in outside, worldly pursuits, but underneath still very unhappy. Which is suffering, and I go through it myself. Family problems, family sicknesses, illness, which brings me suffering. But Dharma practice gives me an opportunity to step out of the river, if you like, step out of the river and just watch the river go.
Right.
So coming here is an opportunity to deepen my compassion for others and look for that inner happiness, which is our, is what Buddha teaches. So why not look for it? Why not try to grasp it?
Yeah. Carson.
Any any kogi tongsu karere tsana mi shimbani semgi dewa chin hopo ki gode any semgi dewa sagres
Yeah.
any di che ida yang 타동 콘소기 샘캄 기포 용마레스 디 코기 삼 통수 디레 아니 타동 콘소 중요한 용구로에 애니 수수기 거기 수수기 아 남히 욕다 태기 여러와 두데어 당 네파 나자 애니 태기레스 디사블로 둔데어 용코유레 이래 남배추기 냠플랜 디 고갑 디 체야 야부투스 애니 냠플랜 디 남배추기 냠플랜 디 베츠인 카레레스라 추 삼보 추 챔포 디 줘야 얘네 추 치로 애니 삼파 담라 애니 미토네 애니 챔파 애니 두냐 용야 애니 통시레 추 챔포 낭신라 얘네 추 챔포 디사 간라니 디 콘수 디 추 챔포 나할라기 콘수 두냐기 용야기 대다칸 낭신 공 통투기레스 이리 친레지기 주소 디 용례 이리 닌체 라소파 아니 장야기 고갑베 합두사 이리 닌체 당 생기 시대 장야기 고갑 야부두사 친레지기 주소 디 용례 이니 상계 춤든 대기 디다부 디 던총 애니 가르쳐래 말해 ngasi 장 마창하 가르쳐래 말해 ngasi 자다 야부레스 디타부 송송 지와 슈바송
그래,
리
야하고야.
청소 나슬라
계란라고 간절히 미망무 고도스.
Yeah. So, like the way that you have observed and the way what you need, we all are in the same situation. We also need all this as well.
되니 다가란 레라 먼저 식지어랬다. 존중 나눠야 식지어라.
That's it.
아니 대원 대장 띠무비 야스치 모시올라기 샨디 대와라. 대원 대장 띠무비 랑기 대와 다트린 좀 동거 톤드 세미여장 동거 닐랑 옴버주스 만주다 미츠마 샤디 디리지 차디기 도스 다가란 송요레스 로 대디 송거 좀 말해 뭐에 뉴스래야 디차게 열어왔어
So it is really like this, isn't it? Yeah. So we have like a saying or a verse that is very popular, and it's from Great Master Shanti Deva from the Engaging in the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, or the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life text. And the verse goes along the lines that even though one desires or wishes for happiness, but we destroy our own happiness. Yeah. So, and we experience suffering. So even though somebody is looking for and striving for happiness, then we actually engage in behaviors that will destroy our happiness. So like this example or this verse, it really happens. It really works like this, doesn't it? So we can observe this situation. That's
다 대화 세상 디싱금은 도스 대화 고고 열다이네 대화 드룹 싱금은 도스 송 열어왔어 샨디 대박 가스나 등원이 로차고 어렸어 원이 차고 어렸어 원이 로스라야 말다 등원이 차고 열어왔어 가스나 자비 대화 세디 카르리스 먼저 디 하고 고다스로 대화세야디 가르레스 대화세야디 치 우부 잘라지 말레스 로 पेनन खांबा de देवा मारे मोटा de देवा मारे पैसा de देवा मारे खाला de देवा मारे देवा मारे रो देवा सिंह दी सेम छोरवाजी ग्रेंदवास छोरवाजी रेस सेम छोरवा सेम चाशी ग्रेस देवा से दी दिन से देवा चिलोला यो मारेस चिलोला यो मारेस देवा दी 소수 대화디 출로라 요 말이 소수 샘 나나 연구 거래스 대화디 샘 나니 대화 중국어를 마도 출로 톤수 대화 랭고 주나 아니 갈카고 베레스 베갈카고 베레스 로 대한베 땐도 대화 가드이나 대화 토야지 출로 톤수 용투 말이스 pena khalas and kambaki would motaya was done nekab gi and devaji the younger dana dig devad tend dig mares tinguyer was ra
So, like mentioned in the quote from Shantideva, we as beings, even though we wish to experience happiness, we don't know how to accomplish that, or we don't know how to go about gathering or accumulating happiness. Yeah. So this is something that we can really see. This is true. So what is our main happiness, or what we call root happiness? What is happiness? Yeah. So happiness is not obtained via external material objects such as house, a car, body, food, and so forth. This is not what happiness is. We're not happy with a house. We're not happy by having a car, not happy having body, food, and so forth. Yeah. But happiness itself is a mental feeling. It's a mental sensation. Yeah. So it's part of our mind. Yeah. So happiness is really something that is unattainable via external objects or outside of oneself. That happiness must be experienced as part of one's own feeling, which is part of our minds. So you can say that it's really very difficult to obtain happiness via external phenomena, external objects here. So, and especially if we're speaking in terms of stable, lasting happiness. So we're not able to obtain the stable, lasting happiness depending on external phenomena or external objects here. So yes, we can derive a temporary level of happiness by, gaining a house, experiencing nice food and cars and so forth. But this is a temporary level of happiness and it's not lasting. So we can see that this is the actual situation that's like.
the same dewa chungores dewa di same nangni dewa sugores ra sanji labsha su terendos ra manzole dewa gugu yor dunga gugu yor martingan sam chikpar was the dewa di same chashi jinza same nangni dewa chung dewa sugu dos ra the same nang dewa di yongyala ya same nang dewa yongyala ya ani karso ta chi ngogyen ro de su kanggo chigyores 가리 토니 아니 디스트럽 치그레스 라바이나스 로 촉직디 셈버 부수 톡 잡아이나 삼로 하정 춘주 모두 마당 와이나 부수 톡 잡아이나 먼저 셈라 대와 용기요 말이스 가츠스게 갸쳔부 토라야 삼로 땅 투바이나 셈버 고향부 차거레스 셈그 디기 다 약슈디 대침부 섬당고다스로 무유 내출이야 섬당고다스 제 무유 내출 다 야침부 톨이야 섬당바이나 셈법에 르르 차고 셈부스 도부 차고 말 디셈고 디기레스 디 디직직 튼투 바이나 응원이 대화디라고 하서레스 응원이 대화죠라다 아니 디직 연구열에서
So really, we need to accomplish this lasting happiness in terms of our own inner reality, our own mental happiness. Yeah. So this is mainly what the Buddha Shakyamuni was addressing when he gave his teachings, our own mental happiness. And we all want happiness and we all want to avoid suffering, but this is only done via our inner world or our mental consciousness. Yeah. So in order to cultivate this lasting happiness or our inner happiness, yeah, there are many obstacles to that. Yeah. So when our minds, our thoughts are very disturbed, for example, and we get very uptight and stressed in this situation, then one is not going to be feeling any happiness. Yeah. So if on the other hand, if you're able to try and think in a very broad and open-minded way, then there'll be a lot more room to feel more relaxed and happy. Yeah. So this equates to a feeling of happiness. Yeah. So, and we try to have our perspective that it's in accord with the reality. Yeah. So if we're able to think in this way and remain relaxed and open, then there'll be room for that mental happiness to be experienced. So this, you could say, is what actual or what real happiness is like. Lazala.
데리다 라 먼저 미망보지 nga 슬랍데디 라 ngalchi ngala yabu chigmundo ngala khushib chigmundo ngala shigmundo ngala share chigmundo ngala chig dugja jilagodo ta nga kyongra ro sare ding tindi samdedi ani mixa di samtansa di sosu chigpo mado 미 야치 무지 요 말았다. 미 소스 찍으란지라 마도 아니 셈바 부스도 보차가도 하더라. 콘루 마무사야. 아니 차도 사야. 되네 마기바. 미 마무 쇼지. 디리친 마기바 진 되기도 하더라.
So mainly when people have very repetitive sense of I, me, I, when they say and they reflect in this way, they reflect that I am not good, I'm unable to do this and that, I'm incapable, or this person has respected me, this person is looking down on me, speaking harshly, or I've just lost something. This is always coming back to this I, me, myself. Yeah. So it's always this focus is always on oneself. Yeah. And therefore it's not very open. It's not very broad. Yeah. So it results in feelings of quite stress and very uptight, and results in anger, jealousy, and so on. So in this perspective, or in this state of mind, then really they just remain very unhappy, right? That's all.
그래. 더 콩주 상바당 착도당 지여라다. 로 데소 키온디 상로 데소 코온디 마기바 차고레스. 다 동알레기도 하더라. 셈바키우 메기 차고레스. 디 리그데 페나 데차레 콩조레 나르예레 착도레 젠섬로 소바 lo di rig di kazu su nyong tang tu wa na yacha jata me kiwe yores leba yores rangshin ke suzu lele chagres ro
So through these thoughts of anger, attachment, jealousy. So for example, when we generate these thoughts of anger and jealousy, yeah, we really do feel unhappy and therefore we suffer. Yeah. So these types of thoughts, such as attachment, anger, jealousy, competitiveness, and so forth, however much we're able to reduce those thoughts, then therefore we'll be able to increase our feelings of happiness. Yeah. And there we will be able to feel relaxed and very naturally we'll be able to feel quite relaxed. Let's hear
terida tinsa the di dokshoge pena chi sosul khar chong ba na ya the shena pena degree sambi logi yo ba na logi yo ba na pe ki ucha ga sares pe lele chak sares ani pena sasang ji ba na ya ani sasang ji ba na sasang di sosu roba di ki uda roba de ga hu chon da digdu sambi logi yo na sasang di nyam de 기부진 데도 그래서 다 사산디 나라 아니 추팅구문도 나라 라구문도 나라 페 respect 지금문도 로지 쌈 대바이나 다 사산디 냠도 기부 용야 백갈 가보러 왔어 두 제바실다 야차 자다마 셈랑 소거레스 대바드 둥을 세디 셈랑 소거레 마도 육 토니 에 디오마레스
So when we think about these opposite ways of thinking, yeah, that we are naturally, if we think in an opposite way that we usually think, yeah, if we think, for example, whatever happens to be, regardless of what happens, may be of benefit to others. So with this thought, then our minds will be able to relax and feel very happy, because whatever happens to us doesn't matter. It may be of benefit to others. Yeah. So with this thought, we're very happy and very relaxed. So if you take, for example, in our family life or with our own family, if we cultivate the thought that whatever happens, if our other family members, if they're happy, if they're okay, then the whole family will be able to remain relaxed and happy. So regardless of what happens for oneself, but if the others are okay, if they're happy, then the whole family will be happy. Whereas if we're always looking at ourselves and thinking, our partner has not done this or that, has disrespected me, has said this and that, then we're always going to be feeling very uptight. And the whole family will also feel uptight. So whereas if we, regardless of what happens to us, but the others are happy, then we will have a whole very happy and relaxed family. So really, you can see that happiness is made within our own minds. It's not experienced by or dependent on external objects for us to experience happiness, but in fact is made by our minds. Let's look.
니 빨라 이모 당보 타와라 왔어 라 아니 죽을라 창사잡 아마냠도 창사잡 근데 니 빨라디 아마라 빼 장부치 그랬어 니 아마라 아마 데스 Diyor, kau yara, ama, ama be ya uyarda, ama be ya var, yine ama be, de bugu mambu yara, kayo mara, bugu yara, bugu yara yani, bugu da yara şeyden, namsa ama ki, bugu dongu marda, ama pavalın yara şeyro. Yine pawa be chambuji, pawa bugu da zala kadın ama kalanya, ami kalagido, ama rokbachi, ama kalanyes. Ani pawa kona kalasu, ama lete, amal be chambuji, kona ni be kibu yorista. Kasına ama kibu chona pawalan rig de varta. Tima to pawal kogu megyo do yorista. To chidigi be kibu chagdo da. Pe kale yor buguchu yorda ine kona ni be kibu chin de varta. Meze kansala. Pawlo gechu badu deri. Be kibu chin. Samsam pawa chilo dhorda. Pe la ya. Ani tachi 교가 도서 칠로를 다른 부터 지금 조약이 내가 들어다 아마도 난 대대로 룩스저로 파워 드론 니마 찍니 숨 말레바이나 아니 아미 샘데시르다 가디나 아니 아미 모자르다 가딜레사레 모자야저라 파워 드릴레사레 모예 아마 모라 자신 다 지금 디야고를 마바나 샘데시그레 딘디 시그레스라 지질 구지다 디여바나 이기버다로 다 가시 열었더니 벤 착도당 따라 아니 진갈에 야고 지금도 벤갈에 때금도 진갈에 쿠십 지금도 갈에 벤케지 지금도 새로 딘지기 상무 장자 땅대바나 안 남디 규제요 말았어. 되니 로가 치고다. 로가 찍지 니치 숨 메가시 창사 숨 개위 시개위 세디는도 근데 제가 알았어. 또 세미레스.
So Geshe-la's father, initially Geshe-la's father was a monk and monastic, but later then having disrobed, later then went on to marry Geshe-la's mother, But Geshe-la's father was very kind to Geshe-la's mother. So sometimes Geshe-la's mother would shout a little bit, because it's difficult with Geshe-la's mother had 10 children, So sometimes this shouting would happen, and sometimes Geshe-la's mother would shout at Geshe-la's father, but Geshe-la's father was always very kind and always very helpful to Geshe-la's mother. For example, Geshe-la's father would make food, allow his mother to rest and serve her food, and so forth. So this was a very happy situation, family life.
부구sol라 빠와 가디나 아마 칼라니엔스 아마라 로바치에스.
So Geshe-la's father would say to the children, go help your mother help prepare the food. So Geshe-la's father really felt that if the mother was happy and helped and supported, then he himself felt happy. So of course it was difficult with 10 children, but regardless, it was very harmonious and happy. So now there is a custom in Tibet where the husband would have to sometimes travel long distances for work and the mother would remain at home, So even though Geshe-la's father lived to the age of 80, but from time to time he would have to travel long distances. So, and his mother, Geshe-la's mother, would perhaps Geshe-la's father was a few days overdue, so I guess his mother would do a divination, or when's he gonna get back, and so forth. So Geshe-la's mother, if the divination didn't go well, then she would be quite worried, of course, But usually they had this great amount of respect, and therefore they were very happy family life. Whereas in general, if people are very worried, they're very focused on, oh, they're disrespecting me, they're not talking to me, they're not doing this and that, or they're not doing what I want, then this is really going to result in a very unhappy family life. Yeah. So, and then go on to separation or divorce. So you hear about those people that get married, 3 or 4 times. So you can see that all this situation arise from people's minds. Azula.
다 들다 아마싱이디 보글라 베 샤자여라 보글라 샤자여디 테니 보글라 깨갸야다 아니 보글지 마존나 테니 베 셈드라야라 소바다 아마디 슈크체도다 바왈레 아마 슈크체도 인자 아메 참자라 깨갸야다 아마티 콘로사에 용구여라다 아니 바웨기 삼시 제투고레스 바웨 안더스탠드 제투고레스 아마라 트로디 용구여바 understand 제투디 되는 욕담만 도하다. 신 남규 바웨 칼라소고요레 둘로소고요레 로바치고요레 콘트로치스 다 아마츠 콘트로사바이나 지진 바오 콘트로사 시고도 오지라 이나 바오 콘트로사 마레스 자와 니니 독자라고 마레스 가즈나 아마피기 제와쇼저레 부치요레 아니 다 딘지기 삼시 지원디 understand 지원디 아니 참부차기도 기부차기도 로 디갸차 갸담바 땅안주 베나 사상지 임바이나 민니로스 민니 대한 아니 베나다 대선도 망부여르데네 만체지다 아니 개바제다 범해지 냠도 대고라라 부지다 범해지 냠 대원디 아니 리뷰게 아니 접당 코란이 샘감 대선 작음다 류르 템비 아니 서로만 서와 계단다 비기 류 교르다 만다 텔 템비기 에 가서 왔다지 서로와 용당 삼당다 만다 용구다 이 용구다 그래서 디주 참말로야 understand 제투 바이나 가디는 기부샤 그랬어 요트요 말했어 다 지체 마두디 삼시 제 마두서 제라 아니 둥아레스 요트레스 로 레도
So in this case, then Geshe's mother was very affectionate to all of the children, regardless, of her shouting or getting angry at them from time to time. But Geshe's father's understanding of the whole life situation was really able to understand why anger and shouting does happen from time to time. So this was able to maintain the happy environment overall, because Geshe's father understood that Geshe's mother was really very busy, preparing food, fixing and mending clothing, cleaning and so forth. And never once did Geshe's father say to Geshe's mother any bad words at all, or get angry back in any these situations, because he understood why she would react like this in some cases. So this led to a very happy and relaxed family life. So in general, when we consider a family, so usually at a minimum, it would be consisting of 2 people. So these days, there are different sort of combinations of those 2 people, but just generally and usually speaking, it's a man and a woman that are coming together to be a family. So And naturally, there's going to be different perspectives and different emotional reactions because we do have different physiological differences, yeah, and therefore there does lead to different perspectives and different emotional reactions, yeah. So if we think well and if we have an understanding of these differences, then it'll be a lot easier to maintain a happy relationship, yeah. But without this proper, understanding or awareness, yeah, then really it's going to result in problems, right? That's a lot.
Terda nganzu mizi di kye gora ta mizi di na namba sanji wichwe la ya zawi ki kyewa chima kor sungu yores. Kyewa chima ne chima kyewa ni kyewa gyu ne dewa degi drupdanji sungu yora ta tsu chwe na di sungu. Yimba ina ya mizi di la ya kibu jimbe na kyewa chima la kibu yongya kalika warwa. 다 무슨 딜 기부 용약이 기부 용약이야 다 미망체디 미게로다 자와 안에 말어 자와 안에 들어보지 봐나 소소소 개장 지는 대학이 대로다 그러면 나도나 나는 무슨이야 나 개장 지는 대로다로 나는 찍고 지는 대라 개장은 찍고 나는 찍고 지는 대고라다로 나로 줍드니 아니 소소 롬바니 카트니 야가 롬발에요 곰발 때나 소소 찍고라다 미스가 나면 더다 니께 요 말하다 소소 찍고 진데 아니 도스 좋은데 민냠도 쇼쇼지다 뜬 거야 도시 요 말와스 아니 소소 가 되니던데 소소 가 되니던 도 아니 어두 신도인데 욕도 뇽다스더라 무슨데 욕도 뇽다 다 로바지요 세베젤라 로바딜라 samshi chego da sasanji yobana kenala sasanji goguyana sasan de la ngebor de samshi chego res kenan chigbo debu yongya giche kenan chigbo de da samdan rojabana ken dün nam ya sasan ya wuji rag marwas tro the understand said sigdire do da understand chetu bana saman dig dogore understand chematu bana sama lag dogorda
So our lives, yeah, when we think of the Buddha Dharma or the teachings of the Buddha, if we implement them into our lives, that's mainly for the purpose of achieving happiness in our future life, yeah, and into the lives going into the future. So, or into the happiness of our next life and the following lives thereafter. But if we are unable to be happy in this life, it will be very difficult for us to achieve a happy life into the future, our next and into the future lives. Yeah. So Geshe, taking himself as the example, he himself is a monk, so he's single. He's just himself as an individual. Whereas in the West or in Australia, most people are lay people, yeah. Whereas Geshe himself, he is single and he left Tibet as single. He went to India as a single person and not relying on family and so forth. So, but because of this, there's not many dependents. Yeah, there's not many people that rely or depend on him. So he has this freedom where he can go here and there and do as he pleases. Yeah. Whereas if one has a partner in a family, then yes, one must consider the family so they have their dependence. Yeah. So they need to understand the situation, and they're not able to necessarily act like a single person, go here and there at whatever time and so forth. So there's this broader way of thinking, well, not necessarily broader, but there is a way, a lifestyle that needs to be more inclusive of the creative family. And without this understanding, then really, if we don't have that considerate understanding, then there'll be a lot of problems within the family. Gonda. Within the family. Gonda. Zips.
No.
Gonda.
Why?
In the family. This has
Okay.
problem in the family.
Things are the Nanzum Nanola Diores Ra Chikarsorda. The Yons Zovat, Nanzu Tong Deadan, Nanzu Tong Deadan, Nanzu Tuk Deadan, and it's Nanzoli Yodevati, Yon Zobati, Muyo Nizu Karesna, Guri Ranshi changes. Ra Guri Ranshi changes. The D Ting Piggy Yul Muyo Nitsujeres. The Yul Muyo Nitsul Ding on Zug D. That took Goya D. Tiam Missindi Namale, Kitchen Asra. Mansun Gui Ranshin Chen D. Gui Ranshin Chen Matevachi. Takpa Tempo Sorach Zindevaina. Tak big Sorach, then Gua Mevanroch. Chashi Shachin, some of the Ditan Devana. Kun Gui Ranshin Chen Gudro Asra. Then Gua Shuk Champo was Teondi. And Gansu Semna Ganga Chigdo. Magiva Chagdo. Kansan Kun Gudro some low Yomarada. In a picketing Gui Ranshin Gudro Yora. That dingy Ramatu di Tini Tata Maridi, Nanzumizina Kanga Pitch Mutegorasra. In the Sanji Jom de Labja Tambo di Duje Tamji, any Medaban Gui Ranshin Re Sonya di Mizidina Labja Yakshu de Dinsares.
So these days, or in general, then in our lives, we can observe that whatever situation, whatever object, whatever thing that we can experience is in the nature of change, the nature of impermanence. So regardless of what we experience, what we see, and so forth, it is necessarily going to be in this nature of change and impermanence. So if we have this understanding is so important for the happiness of our lives, So whereas if we hold on to everything or even something as being permanent and unchanging, that it is not going to transform, the stronger that we hold on to that thought, then that is going to give us the most amount of suffering and unhappiness. So without this understanding of the nature of change, the nature of impermanence, of all compounded phenomena, and without this idea, then we will experience a lot of hardship and difficulties. So the first point that the Buddha Shakyamuni touched on was that all compounded phenomena are naturally impermanent. So this is really the best advice. Latsala.
Tsigdila Yora, the Bena, Tsigdila Du ni Chebas. Duni Cheba, Dusla on the good and Gemambo Sun Duni Chongshawajigres. Good and Gemambo Sun Duni Chongshawajinza, didn't Nimajilla Kata Dores. 그 중이레스. 라 중이레스. 딩 간주 하고 거래스라. 대 하고 와이나. 배는 간주다 메지드 나올라야 단 듄이 탈비 둥하디 쇼지인 거다. 라 배나 trobo penso 카트르 동ар 나무 카트르 동ар 아니 파마 카트르 동ar 아니 지 류다 샘 카트르 동ar 시비 직다 쇼조한테 류섬 카트르 동ar 삼비 조디라 틴디 짱짱 그다 동ar디 동ar디 쇼저라라 따디 뭐네 kon duni targoya de ko chunyi imba chi samlo yoba na tela ngamra dan jigda ke goya meba ke wa ina ya pendo meba ji tong tu sares den tong ba ina ta ani dunga di nyong dore yabu chong dunga di meba chagres
So when we speak of compounded phenomena, in Tibetan it is du che. So this is made up of 2 syllables in Tibetan. So the first syllable is du. So what we understand when we speak of du, it means gathered together. So what is gathered together is causes and conditions are gathered together. Yeah. So that means necessarily that one day they will separate. Yeah. So if we understand this, that all compounded phenomena are necessarily going to separate, then this would be of great benefit to our happiness. Yeah. So, so we understand that if we do not have this understanding, that when we do separate from our friends, our family, various objects, and even our body and mind at the time of death, then this is a great level of fear, yeah, because we do not have this understanding, deep understanding, that we are going to separate because of the compounded phenomena. So if we're able to understand that this is the natural way of how things exist, that due to causes and conditions they come together and therefore one day they must separate, then if we're able to implement this understanding in our lives, then this would be very beneficial, and to the point that we will be able to decrease our own feelings of suffering and distress. And at best, we're able to completely remove that suffering. That's it.
teder da kecheshi songyores ra chomden de da kecheshi jikti manzu nelu set ra nelu penata gyuranji ji manzu di choj damben pena keran tongde ya kode ya pe ani samalo rege yoba samalo dushires gyurores gyuda da pena nganzu luro jima shuj gyuroda ra 세리버도 시야원데 간주 류디 니마 돈다지 나노라레 베디 용스 저거 제오 잡더스 류디 딘디세기다 드리다 딘자 피글이야 단지 güngü bachen güve 진 대고를 뭐도지 mangyurni 세긴지 대고 말했다죠 그냥 간주딘 통 두고요 말아 간주디 쌈 두고요 말아 딱 봤대 모서를 쌈온디 아니 비기 있다 지금 요 첨부로는 일단 통원디 근데 배디 아니 샘나 암라기야다 아니 배 자원이니 삼시 제마도 근데 연구도 하서라 디가스는 무연에서 또 마도 반사 데리마도 무연에서 또 봐이나 삼시 제마도 지요 말했어 제도 그래 삼시 제도가나 샘벌을 차그랬어 다간지
So this is really one of the most important points things that the Buddha Shakyabuddhi spoke about, the reality, and the reality is naturally undergoing change, transformation, yeah? So it's necessarily impermanent. So if you question whatever visual object that you see or whatever you can sense, yeah, including our bodies, yeah, scientists say that within 1 week, then we completely change, or our body undergoes a complete transformation. Yeah. So it's in the nature of impermanence and change. Yeah. And this is done on a momentary basis. Yeah. A continuum of a momentary basis. And even doesn't remain or stay put for even 1 second, yeah? But we're not able to see this transformation. We're not even really able to understand or perceive it, yeah? But, and therefore we grasp onto a sense of permanence, yeah? So, and this thought leads us to a lot of suffering and distress, yeah? Especially when we separate one from specific objects, yeah? But if we're able to really realize, yeah, really really perceive this natural way of existing, this way of changing a permanence, then this will reduce our amount of mental distress, and we'll be able to remain very relaxed, mentally relaxed there.
그래서 디자 간지 좀 된 디가 라브자 참 로디 무연이 줄이야 시샤니 송구도 하서라 당보 시샤서디 단지 계란 주어 나신기 까면 나신기 먼저 대원대보다 동하면 대봐 직규르세티 다냠티 무여로 하서라 나랑 대오고고요리 계란 대오고고요 날 대오고고요바데 계란 대오고고요바 띵이 아니 킬로로 있잖아 찍바 찍잖아마도 ngala deo goya di shuk chia da kerala goya di shuk chung aro tsawa ni mundo asro ai tin anshin gita dunga da gararo ngala mu goya di kerala go yo mare kerala mu goya di ngala go yo mare chi pa chi kyan res dunga da dinti chi yim bayna ani ngi ngara susu gu de ki chedo kerala ya marab che bayna dunga te bayna tangbu cha ma sons ro tangbu cha ma sons 진짜 미수인 소수 응원이 미 파션 장부치는 지 마치는 말지 딩안주 까투 말았어 소수 장부치 거야 돼 소수 장부치 거야 돼 근데 sikjido karsa responsibility se mare soso tiredo soso la pabi gendro da o dichin drobaina mezit kiures mesama gauchi gres ra
So you can really say that all the teachings, all of the advice that was given by the Buddha Shakyamuni, he took the reality, the way things, how they actually exist, as his foundation for those teachings. Yeah. So like you mentioned earlier, like you stated, we all want happiness. We all wish to avoid suffering. This is in accord with the reality. This is how things are. So we're all equal in that wish to want happiness and to avoid suffering. If you measured it in kilos, if you weighed it, then it'll be of equal weight, yeah? So there's nobody that wishes stronger and wishes less to avoid suffering and so forth. We're all equal. Or you could say in the same boat, yeah, in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering, yeah. So in order for us to achieve our own happiness, then it is very dishonest if we abuse or we upset others in order to achieve that. This is not very honest nor straightforward. Yeah. So this is our responsibility that we act in order to gain our own happiness, that we don't harm others in order to achieve that. Now, this is our responsibility. And if we act in that honest and straightforward way, while we try to accumulate our own happiness, then everybody will appreciate that. That's lovely.
Tilda, tenipa Geshe Tsultrim 아니 랑다 신스 라운디 개체종 돈 상당히 송고다스라 랑다 신스 라운디 수키체레스 tilda 당안주기 소수 개체슈 쓰는 로거라다 무슨나 개체슈 소수 쓰그라마다 신 개체 쓰기 말하다 당부 소수라 캡상 가르도 내가 제바는 소수라 캡상 가르도 뒤다 그러와 아니 소수라 캡상 매바나 내가 유시하고라 따라 현라 편도여다 맥 성로 땅에 공부로다 좀 된디 디 노르샤 송다 디 노르샤스 디 개체종 돈 성당 투문도스 개체디 랑마리 신레스 간선 준생 가르스나 랑스나 미치그레스 미치그 내된을 두고요라스 신슬라운디 빼디 단다로는 단 잠블린이야 9 billion human being 요래 라 어디래 왔어 라 딘디지 내돈 두고 왔어 라 근데 밀리시야바나 딘저 먼저 성당다 노르샤스 성당다 노르샤스 걔는 성 뒷땅 바인데 걔는 무슨 도고 차그레스 디 야시자다마 송고도 있어 좀 된데라
So if we now think in a wider or a broader way, then we can consider in terms of ourselves and others. We can look at the importance when we compare self and others. Who is more important? So of course, to us and our lives, we put ourselves first. We weigh up if that work or that activity is going to be profitable or not. And if it's not useful or profitable, then we tend to not engage in that work or activity. Yeah. So really, people that put others first, regardless of oneself, are really very rare indeed. Yeah. But the Buddha Shakyamuni said that this way of thinking is mistaken. He said that it's important, most important, to regard others as opposed to oneself. Because the self is one, it is single individual. And when we think of others in this world, humans are about 9 billion in number. So you can see, and this is the reality, this is how it is, yeah? So, but this really opposes or contrasts with our own way of thinking. We just consider ourselves. And this leads to a feeling of uptightness and stress. Yeah. So this is a mistaken way of regarding. So this is how the Buddha Shakyamuni advised. That's all.
nganzu paral keba dida chomden digi labsha kyabtan da nganzu susu chizo nalal ya lobjong chini labsha kyabtan di ta dragmu da sira
라 아니 상계 좀더 되게 송당탕 저기
nganzu
송당
lobjong chedani dragmu da
럽청체야
nganzu labdala drong di susu la keben kandaji topgo kore susu kandaji yabuchago kore 소소 랑 셴리 소소 가주스 야기 땅투가 제고래 소설의 캡산 가져 용어치고 딘지 lab자기야 마도
ane,
랑레피 신지 개체에서 lab자디 다 만세 개그 말아서로 좀 전에 디레면도 캐란데 신기체 쓰고 그래서 캐란 다 신스라운디 캐란 미치그레 신스는 탐해버리 캐란 개체와디 된달라야 썸당 두고 그래서 가두이나 내가 가르쳐봐야냐 개체 어디 된다는 썸당와이나 된다 야가 좀 줍도 그러서 내가 개체 어디시 하는 춘주질랑 고코대바나 된다 야침을 두고 말았어 하고서
hakusan hene, the septic area discalcable.
야 갈리갈라는 되리야 인생 땅안주 미지긴자 좀 된데 원데 가르친 것도 텔레야 거바 가르도 라 어디 돌아 상무지 땅와이나 야자 야다마 펜도요레스다 인지민 넘버 제국 말했어 오늘 좀 된데 가르친 것도 가르치기도 상 가르도 텔레 캐빈 가르도 텔레 드럼리 가르도 디 돌아 상무지 땅다 야자 야다마 캐라면서 펜도그레스
So when we look at the Buddha's advice, what he's advising that we place others as more important rather than placing just ourselves as a single individual. This is really contradicts what we generally receive as advice when we go to school or when we interact with others. We usually receive the advice that we look after oneself. What will we gain? What will we profit from if we engage in this and that activity? It's always referred to, it is always going to be focused on ourself as a single individual. And most other influences are not advising to put others first. Whereas the Buddha Shakyamuni, he said that you as an individual are single and there are limitless other sentient beings, yeah? So this way of thinking that placing the emphasis or the importance on countless others as opposed to a single individual, then this type of thinking is going to be really very beneficial for one's life. So even just deceiving an individual, even in a small way, then for one's own happiness is really not something that is suitable. But when the Buddha, whatever the Buddha taught, whatever the Buddha advised, then we need to look at, we need to check that, and we can ask, is that beneficial or not? We don't need to be a Buddhist in order to check what the Buddha has taught and advised. So if you look, is this useful? Is this beneficial? Then this will contribute to your happy life. That's all.
딘디 samdangtuwana 개체다 당한 단념 열어다 지규다 딘디 톨 samdangtuwana 아니 닌지기 삼바세디 지규여레스 셴라 쯔위 쯔와디 용규여레스 다 셴라 쯔위 쯔와디 용바나 소소라 가르케베 여레세 당한 소소를 제거라 소소 기우차그레스 소소 기우차그레스 간스나 타도 용고 말인 댄섬 용고 말인 콘도 용고 말인 용도 대수 메나 땅원이 기부드레스 라 먼저 기부디 칼라야고 사야 대자 말에 감바지고는데 대자 말에 벤조 하장 추부소야 대자 말에 대자 건강소 기부 좀 두고 말레스 셈바디 기부지 메나 가리 여바는 간소 기부 용 두고 여 말아서 먼저 통고라다로 셈바 기부 영이지만 그게 맹해지만이야 빵구지만이야 라 아니 기부진 되고레스
So we can think, what is more important? We can view in a very balanced, in a very equal way. Yeah. And we're able to, on that basis, develop a feeling of loving kindness and compassion to other beings. Yeah. So actually, you can even ask as well, what benefit or what gain would I get from loving others or being compassionate towards others? Yeah. So oneself would also feel happy. You would be less jealous, without jealousy, without anger, without competitiveness, and so on. So this is what one would achieve or what one would gain with this thought of loving kindness and compassion. So not striving for the thought of happiness by depending on obtaining a house, good food, cars, and so forth. But even somebody without these, having a house or having various resources, even they are able to feel happy, yeah, without these different external resources. That's a lot.
도전아. 걔네들
That's-
저래느라 저다는 지그리스.
That's her. So thank you. And if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to answer them. Welcome to ask them. God.
Hello, Gisela. I just want to, you touched on all compounded things are phenomena are impermanent. And I was just wondering if you mind actually talking about the 4 seals of Buddhism, because that's one of them. All compounded phenomena are impermanent. And one of them is nirvana is peace. And what, I can't remember the other 2.
Sure.
Yeah, something selfless.
Sure. So duce tabche midapa ini dele sum ini sum duce tabche midapa dele de jela
알렌
karere
뒤제 탐지 못하고
dumewa dumewa
최 탐지 동시 다음에 봐. 양을 대와 시와.
dani niba
뒤제 탐지
kona
못하고
niba
삭제 탐지 둥하와. 삭제 탐지 둥하와. 아니 최 탐지 동시 다음에 봐. 양을 대와디 시와레스.
duce tabche midapa ini
삭제 탐지
sache tabche
둥하와.
dudel dani sumba
최 탐지 동시 다음에 봐.
che tabche
동시 다음에 봐.
네.
양을 대와 시와.
So so the first, as we know, is that all compounded phenomena are impermanent. So, like you mentioned, these are the 4 seals, and the repeating of those 4 seals is that all contaminated phenomena are suffering. All phenomena are selfless, and liberation or nirvana is peace. These are these 4 seals. Would you like an explanation?
No, did you just say 3 or 4 of them?
Well, we know the first one, yeah, which
yeah,
is that all comparative phenomena are impermanent. So
Sorry, that's
you get the
okay.
other 3, yep.
Written up top. Okay, thank you, Gisela.
Why are you asking me this?
Well, you mentioned like that all compound phenomena are impermanent, and I've actually studied stuff on the 4 seals of Buddhism, and I just couldn't think of the other one, so I thought I would ask you.
가서
Any the 거기 공용유라 any do 참지입니다 봐 any disablo any 공용유 any sablo 시가 any tend to but 성자. That's it.
yeah.
Good morning, Geshe, and thank you for your lovely teaching this morning. I enjoy hearing about your childhood. I love to hear about your culture. My question is, I'll try to make it short. I think it's wonderful for children to grow up in a lovely house full of 10 children. That sounds wonderful. But for me, I had a very abusive childhood from when I was a baby born until I was 16 when I ran away. And that is what I struggle with now. The wonderful Buddhist teachings have helped me more than anything. But I still struggle with forgiveness and anger. Can you, I know, practice, yes. I know. But is there any particular deity or mantra that I have a strong resonance with Green Tara? So I repeat the Green Tara mantra. But is there anything else that you would advise for forgiveness of parents who don't, who abuse their children, and it leaves a lot of negative emotions? Yeah, it's difficult. So forgiveness, I struggle, and with anger. Thank you.
So are you looking for a particular practice
Yeah,
and or advice? It's my
either.
question.
Yeah. Is there anything that focuses on forgiveness as far as a mantra or a deity? I'm constantly reading the Dharma, which is very helpful. But yeah, I just wondered if Geshe would have any particular practice that may be better for anger and forgiveness.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you. Not dependent one word. Just look this. Conduct this pattern. Guyang king yupe. Guyang. Forgive this. Guyang. How could you pay?
No.
Gonda.
Gonda.
Gonda how could you wala? Gondak. Gonda.
Kundra.
Gonda sugar.
Yeah, yeah.
Any guya? King yupe?
Koyan tangros. Koyan.
Goyang danang. Yena. Di chata chipire yera lokre.
Chikpadore. Koyan da gonda se. Chanda chikpado. Yir. Ani malav the truth.
Any kinds of koiki lo chung baby ne. Any lo ju juki padu. Ede papa di mo papa la papa gi mo la. Any de tang ra dung tang la sopa. Any moiki ngune papa la. And Guyang de tuki pare.
Yeah.
De tuki pare.
Yeah.
Ini degi wangi de matupe wangi. Ini tanda sorwa karere long sapo tang long bed sapo. Ini miki pala supa. Tene mixe karere sera tiwa karere sera di lung ma pya tang mi kipa di mepe soya ki chetu any yiram yara sengak ki mixer yore pe ki this sort of any jitsun ki this sort of yore sa any del shime labcha yara yiram yara nani sendak di mixer chi yore pe any di nitsurugi ote any long sarbo tam mikipa di nyua soya ki any labcha yara nyamlin mixer yore pe sa.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Lochuduk kabki, lochuduk kabki, moran lochuduk kabs. Ani karsa,
Lo baby ne any lo
lochuduk part.
padu any di netsu dukshani chung songsa.
Di tsar was. Lochuduk chambagi pomudi, lochuduk chambagi pomudi, tanda kera mara was. Tanda kera di lochuduk chambagi pomudi mara was. Ah. Di mara was. Nganzu nguyo nisu samudang bayna. Tanda kera lochuduk chambagi pomudi mara was. Tata keran lo chudruk chenpa phomo mayinza tata keran la ani phama nyigi kain chigi yo marwas. Dongu yo mare, kain chigi yo marwas ra. Tata keran ya rama yore, keran nanshu chiyagi kokobi yore. Ani tata keran kiburu was ra ta. Tamushe na. Australia lomba na jidan lomba kiburu, tan zambuling nanga lomba kib shujig re do ta. Ah, pina gyaga chawo tang. Gyaga yulong kashi la pe kali yora da ro. Teni da lomba shenpa da lomba kyu shu dhiri do. Dindri roji la yoba ina kali shu re do. Da dindri kaya meba tanda kiran la su kangi neba chigi yo mare, kibu yo mare wes. Ngima chongsha yo re di. Di tanda tsu yongya da lenyan ro ke yo mare was. Ro. Dindri samdana ping mare wes.
That's it. So now, if we think that this happened, this situation arose during the time that you're up to 16 years old, yeah. But that 16-year-old girl, that's not now. Now, that is not you, is it? You're not a 16-year-old girl, yeah. So if we look at the actual situation and how it is right now, yeah, you're not a 16-year-old girl. We know that, yeah, you know that, yeah. And now the abusers and parents are not able to harm you. They're not able to do anything to you. You have your own freedom right now, and you have this great opportunity to study the Buddha Dharma, yeah? So right now, you can be happy, yeah? And especially, we live in Australia. Australia is one of the best countries in the world, yeah? Places like India and other places, there's really a lot of hardship, yeah? A lot of difficulties, yeah? But right now, nobody can harm you. Yeah? Right now, we have this good situation. And if we're able to think that happened in the past, yeah, it's past now, and you can question, is this way of thinking, yeah, those emotions, is that something that is beneficial or not? That's Hula.
다 넘버 산지위게 레균데 세드 쓴거라서 단단 가지고 가리 용바디 규진을 된 총열에서 디가자 자다 말아서 단단 가지고 될 좀이야 돼 앞에는 가지고 된 좀니 난주도 깨지셔야 돼 가지고 사막에 다지 규름부 지금 마 아니 레 야부지 싸발 때니 드링 가지고 될 좀열에서 때 드링 가지고 근데 기부 마용지 차바이나 대한 가는 속을 낼 때는 총열에서 간좀 미친 디난 기부 용해야 돼 수수기 남이 낼 때는 총열에서 미친 디나라 깡가 쳐봐야 소소 남이 낼 때는 총열에서 대표기 미치기 지고지고 쇠샤워지 싸워니는 말에서 계란라 깡가 쳐봐야 계란기 낼 때는 총열에서 디 삼로 땅 투바이나 단징이 라와나지 뭐 내수 디 삼로 땅 투바이나 계란 미치글라 베 콘드사이드 용고 말레스 나랑기 깨왕 함이 레저 때니 달랭알 디 총여라 삼 투바이나 디 팽그레스 다 단에 두 계란 로춘주갈 깡가지 체여반자 디 깨왕 함마 딘디기 레 두자 사자 레기 제부도 조로겨레스 다 계란 미세 타말라 계란 기부치는 로토야기 레와요레스 디물람 겹 딱다리 지존점이 생각사 라 빼야버리 아니 마니테스 사바이나 마니테스 된토바이나 빼펜다요레스 마니테스 타
That's it.
라 아니 샘리야 닌지생이 라 민콘로사댕이 미둑자도솔라 닌지기고 당한서 닌지 다 콘소 독자 가르친 차르스나 콘소 독자 디펜드 뉴무슈크시탄 콘로슈크시탄 딘지기 왕기 콘소 독자 차와레마도 콘소는 뉴무단 콘로다 소바메나 산지디 지고 차거라서 딘지 상다운디 뉴무비기 피슈크쳔보고 왕드 로댕이 모두 닌지 사메기 닌지 이케바이나 디 계란 라이 팽그리 잠블린라 팽그레스 딘지 계란 많이 됐어 간투도사 지존 주미기 생각 간투도사 니 계란을 칭한데 찌기
That's it. So, but we can also consider from the perspective of the law of causality or the presentation of karma, cause and effect. Yeah. So we know that whatever is a result, it necessarily needs to, and whatever we experience as a result is coming together due to various causes and conditions. Yeah. So if we take, for example, us gathering here today and discussing that over a long period of time, yeah, depending on gathering good karma, yeah, then as a result, we're able to gather together, yeah, as a result of that good karma, yeah. And likewise, any unhappiness, any negative situations that we experience, this is all dependent on the previously accumulated cause and effect or previously accumulated karma. So in this context, in a family context, then due to various causes and conditions coming together, then it is giving rise to particular results In this case, it is a negative result. So due to the fact that because the negative kappa or the negative situation, is arising due to causes and conditions, and a variety of causes and conditions, it's very difficult to point to one individual or single cause as the main reason for that negative situation to arise. So this works in the context of this presentation of karma, the law of cause and effect, yeah? And especially since this situation arose when you were young, then you can consider about your previous life, and due to the causes accumulated, in this case, negative causes accumulated in previous life, then now I'm experiencing that result. But that result is now exhausted. It's finished. Yeah. So that negative result is exhausted and finished. And on that way of thinking, you can have hope right now that you can live a happy life. Yeah. So yes, please, like you mentioned, rely on Green Tara, recite Green Tara's name mantra, and also if you can recite the Mahdi mantra and focus and motivate, have a motivation of compassion. So if you make prayers, yeah, and also recite the Tara mantra and the compassion body mantra, and you can focus on having compassion, and especially in relation to the perpetrators, because based on your understanding that due to their very strong and overpowering afflictive emotions, yeah, that they engage in these negative actions, yeah. So without, if anybody doesn't have these afflictive emotions, then they would be like the Buddha, yeah. But because we understand that being controlled or under the power of their afflictive emotions, then you can consider them in a light of compassion. You can think, oh, really very, poor situation. And you can think in a compassionate way because you understand that they were under the influence of their afflictive emotions. So if you're able to view them in a compassionate light, then this will really be a benefit to yourself, but also it'll be of greater benefit to the world as a whole. Yeah. So yes, please recite the Tara mantras, the compassion or body mantra, and Geshe will give his mala to you.
Come. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, we go lunch.
Final lamp prayer. From my two types of merit, vast space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds are guided by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all life, Manjushri. May I find the best of completed paths to the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of them. May I uphold Buddhist teaching for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deed be nourished for a long time. By even this great path to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons, may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent path never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path paved by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Thank you, everybody.